welcome back to my studio. This is Emma and it's another beautiful autumn morning. I'm feeling very autumnal. I even got my purple cardigans and things out, my woolly cardigans out the other day, but actually it's still quite warm. It's not shifted into that cold stuff yet. It's just pleasant at the moment out there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Our 3 new chickens are doing very, very well. They're little scrawny looking chickens. They are so feisty and they've learnt to do what the other 3 do. They've learnt to go where the other 3 go, and now when I go out there they come running to me and I give them a little bit of corn or something, and it's just brilliant. They're just full of zest and they don't even want to go to bed at night really. They're just kind of sitting outside sometimes going, well, we're not going to bed yet, this is so exciting for us. So it's really good. I'm really delighted that we've got them, and it's going to be fun living with them. They're so entertaining. So, as I said last week, I might just sit here and go, well, that was all very interesting, wasn't it? But what are we going to do next? And I haven't got a clue. So I've got my sketchbook here, which is what I made over the last few weeks. If you're new to this channel and you've just come in on this particular video, this is what I did over the last few weeks, which was creating a sketchbook using painting and printing and drawing and stuff and stitching and just having a bit of fun. So do look back at my previous videos if you haven't seen them, and a very warm welcome to you here in this fun place of fun, the house of fun. So I did have a request and I thought I would show you this next for this little piece behind here. Well, this is very much an autumn piece that I did, I think a very long time ago probably. And I was asked to do a bit of show and tell on it, so I'll try and give you a close-up of it, because obviously, you know, just seeing it here isn't quite as close as you might like to see it. So inside I've just got a load of bits of tissue paper. I'll just put my hand in here and take the tissue paper out so that you can perhaps see inside. It's a vessel, and it was meant to be reflecting all the harvesting, the cornucopia of the earth and all the abundance. And on here it's full of leaves, which is interesting because I did some leaf printing, and funnily enough very similar to those actually. So they've got velvet and organza laid over the top, and then I've stitched and then cut away. And as I say, I will try and give you some close-ups of that. And then it's got beads stitched on as well, which kind of makes it glisten a little bit. And it's lovely because the velvet pops through, so you get that contrast with where I haven't cut away the organza on the top, which is what I've done to make the velvet pop out. And the handle is, I think it's got some wire in. It's supposed to stand up, and then it's got a piece of stitched wire, a corded wire going around the outside. It's got some beads on the outside as well. So that just sits. It's been my friend for many a long year. It's one of these pieces that, you know, I do sell my work, although I do sell my work, but at the moment things like this is something that's like a treasure for me, and I kind of keep it. Because actually it's quite useful to have things to show people. If I sold everything and gave it all away, you know, where would we be? So I've been flicking through my sketchbook this morning, trying to get some handle on what might be next, because as you know, I always just try and start with something and then we take it and we see where it takes us. So what I have done is I've been in my fabric stash. Now I haven't been in there for weeks, and it's really quite nice. I feel like I've had a holiday through doing the sketchbook. I feel like I've just had a little holiday from everything, and it's just nice to go into a different medium for a while and play around and see what comes. So I've got this lovely big box of sort of brown, there's a bit of orange in there, orangey tanny coloured stuff. What colour do you call that? Anyway, whatever. Sometimes my head just goes, I've no idea what colour that is. So I've got lots of browns in here, and I'm feeling like this might be a start point, but I don't know. I need to just feel into it a little bit more. Perhaps I'll cut some pieces, perhaps I'll embellish them, perhaps I'll stitch some, but definitely I'll be playing around with fabric because that's what I do. So please, I invite you to join me on this journey. Thank you so much for being here with me, because you make this channel what it is basically. My showing you what I'm doing helps me to get creative. It's absolutely wonderful because I've actually got an audience for what I'm doing, and I feel like if I'm inspiring one other person to go off and go, oh well, I'll go and have a go at that, that's absolutely wonderful. That's what fires me up to come in here and do all of this stuff. and I love the filming, and I love making, you know, putting the videos together for you so that they look kind of fun and interesting. And I love talking to you in the comments. It's really makes my day when I get a comment or two. Just to connect with other people is so great, especially right around the world, you know, it's absolutely amazing. So I'm going to take these fabrics over to sort of my work area, I call it my play area, I should call it, my play corner, and we will just see what's going to happen. Please join me. So the first thing I'm going to do is listen to the geese honking, and then I'm going to just tear up this piece of calico. Oh, girls, what is going on out there? Okay, so that's two nicely torn pieces of calico, beautifully not ironed, as you can see. I really love tearing fabric because you get this beautiful edge to it, and it means you're not trying to be neat and tidy. I'm a great fan of not being neat and tidy. Somebody commented this week that her sewing room is now a complete mess. Having watched my videos, her sewing room is now a complete mess, and I thought, result, I'll have that. Can I have that as a certificate on the wall? Makes other people get very messy. I think that's a wonderful thing to have on my CV, possibly. So I'm looking at these pieces. I'm thinking these are probably going to be joined up at some point to make a long thin piece. Not sure where it's going, but that's what I'm feeling into. And I've got my sketchbook out here for a bit of inspiration, and I've been right through it, and I've looked through and I've flicked through and went, but the ones that are calling to me, the pieces that are calling to me are these lovely mushrooms and all these lines and the softness and the stitching and the sort of the freedom of these pieces. So I am looking at them with my eyes, obviously, but I feel it, and I don't know, I would encourage you to do the same. Just sit for a moment with whatever it is you're being inspired by, and just look at it and let it sort of come inside you in a way. It's a very odd thing to say, but I find the feeling of things is so much more important than just, you know, what my head is telling me, because my head tells me, yeah, those are lovely, but I'm feeling them. I'm almost out there in the grass with the fungi, and I'm kind of feeling the energy of the fungi. I'm feeling what they are, not just what they look like. So that's me. I'm a bit weird, but you know, you don't have to do that. That's okay. Nobody has to do what I do. Right, so the next thing is I have put aside, oops, that's probably a bit close up for you. Basically, I've separated out some of these brown fabrics, and they're all just dark, really. I've got some gorgeous, the lush colours. This is a beautiful piece because it's like space dyed, and I've used it for all sorts of things. It's the most gorgeous colour. So really dark, rich browns. I've also got a bit of this kind of green shruggy stuff. One of my favourite things, if you haven't been with me for a while, one of my favourite fabrics to buy in a charity shop, which is where most of these fabrics come from, is these shrug things that ladies are apparently wearing, and they make fantastic things to go under your embellisher, and they're just lovely and textured, and I have them in several colours because I always snap them up when I see them in a charity shop. So I'm going to start cutting some fabrics up and laying some things down. I think we're going to be embellishing. I think that's the way to go with this. I think we want lots of texture and lots of sort of blending. So my question to myself now is, I'm always asking questions, I'm always curious, do I do some vertical pieces of fabric going across like that, or am I going to be doing horizontal? So that's the first question to answer. Horizontal? I'm feeling vertical. I'm feeling vertical is the way to go. Right, so let's get cracking. So what I've done so far is I've cut a piece of this really nice dark brown. It's kind of like a lining fabric, I think, and just to test it, okay, on my embellisher to see what effect it's going to have and how much bigger I need to cut the fabric than the background fabric. It's always worth doing a little sample just to see how your fabrics are going to perform, and how much they're going to shrink in. It's obviously going to shrink in. I'll show you the back. If you've never seen an embellisher being used before, I will be showing you it. This is what it does. It it shrinks things in, so the fabric now is kind of textured. I think you can probably see that compared to the smoothness that it was before. If I put it like that, you can sort of see, and it will shrink the calico down a little bit as well, and that's absolutely fine. I'm happy with that. And it's helped me to see it was more the width. The pieces that way don't really matter, but the pieces that way need to be big enough that they can cover the calico there like that. And if I want to, I can tuck them over like that, you see. If I wanted to make it have a nice neat edge, I can do that. So I've got the capacity. So I'm going to cut lots more pieces of different colours, and then we're going to get on with some embellishing, I think. I thought, I've just been tearing up some of these pieces, and I thought I just must share this with you, because if I just make a little nick and tear this, oh, I just thought that's far too nice not to share it with you. And it's making all these lovely sort of thready bits which could be added in with my embellisher. They could be added in, who knows. So we're starting to, and I'm going to cut some other pieces of other colours to go on top, because I don't think I want it all one shade, but these will shrink in and they'll go like that. So basically what I've got is I've chosen 3, ooh, more fun, more ripping fun. I've chosen 3 different sort of shades of fabric here. I've got this one which is kind of a silky, I think it's a silk actually. It was a shirt of my sister-in-law, she gave it me to cut up. And so we've got those 3 sort of shades going on, and I'll just line them up like that and we'll embellish them down and see where that takes us. All about experimenting and seeing what happens, and letting the piece tell me what it wants to have happen to it. So we'll go over to the embellishing machine now, and we'll have a bit of embellishing for fun. Righty, so here we go. This is my embellishing machine set up here. Got my bits of fabric which I'm just going to pop over there. This is my calico, and I'm just going to start randomly. I'm not even going to start at the edge, I'm just going to start somewhere, and then I'm not really controlling it. You see, it's all about just letting go of control, I think. So here we go. Okay, so this is my embellishing machine. It looks like a sewing machine. If you haven't seen or used one before, they're an amazing machine. Inside of here, there are 12 needles. I've actually got 12 needles on this machine. Some of them have 5 or 7. And I think they were designed originally for felt makers to use to embellish their fabrics. But you can see what it does. It's pushing down the fabric, and I'll show you over the other side. It meshes the fabrics together. So inside here, as I say, there are 12 sharp, and they're barbed needles. I keep forgetting to say that. I usually just say they're sharp. If you've done hand felting before, you will know what I'm talking about. It's basically pushes the fabrics together. And you can take it off. If you don't like what you've done, you can just take it off, because there's no harm done, and you can put another piece on or whatever you want to do. But for me, this has been the greatest machine to go along with my sewing machine. It works beautifully, it's smooth and effortless. It does all the hard work for me, and I can blend fabrics, blend colours. You've got to be a little bit careful and listen out for what your machine is doing, how it sounds, because if it's struggling a bit with some of the fabrics, if you're trying to use something too thick or too closely woven, you know, it might not like it. And you either have to go really slowly if you've got some situation like that going on, or you perhaps don't use that fabric. I'm very careful with my embellishing machine. I only use what it likes to use, and it's absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to do some more embellishing. And P.S. I'm not sponsored to sell these machines, but I do think they're wonderful, and they've altered what I do hugely. You can use them either to just lay the fabrics down, and instead of pinning things in place, you can just use the embellisher to lightly sort of tack things down. Obviously, it changes the surface, and you have to bear that in mind, because you might prefer to be stitching just onto a smooth surface, or you might like this and appreciate this sort of textured effect that you get. And it's just, you'll see as we go along. If you haven't seen one before, as I say, they are magic. So I've put a second piece of fabric on here. This is the sort of silky stuff, and I'm just going to see what it's going to do for me. Oh, yes. Now straight away you can see that that's doing a different effect. That's fairly smooth, that one. It's got some markings on it, but this is really ruckling up the fabric. So this is what I say, you need to cut your fabrics bigger than what you think you're going to want and have a little sample and you'll see what they're going to do. I didn't bother sampling this one. I thought I'm just going to be reckless and pop it on. So I think what I'm going to do is put all of these brown pieces on and then I will see where we're going to go next. And I think probably that's quite enough for today. So I'm going to say thanks so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Do leave me a comment as to, you know, what you think of it so far or what you've been doing, perhaps as a result of the sketchbook videos or just anything that you're doing at the moment. You know, I love to hear from you. I love to chat with you. Let me know where you're from. If you're somewhere else in the world, you know, if it's your first time talking to me, it's so much fun to know that I'm talking to people right around the world. And I will see you again in my studio next week. Thanks so much again. Bye for now.
Ba 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 ba.